What's going on, guys? It's Drake Allen here. We're back with another episode. This is episode number 3. We're changing our name. I'm going to change it to A&W Athletics. We got the Allen brothers, and behind the scenes, we got the twins. We got the Watson brothers. And honestly, I'm finding myself branching out to more stuff and wanting to talk about more things other than Oklahoma City basketball. But don't worry, we still have a segment divided in this podcast called Thunder the Up. So we're still divided specifically for that. But honestly, we're going to dive into that first segment right now. I want to talk about how rough. I wish I had a better message to tell you than what we left off on last time. But we're still on the same page. We've been going through a rough patch. We're 1-5, or we're 1-4 in our past 5 games. We're 4-6 in our past 10. So I hate to say it, but we're just still in the same spot.
No, we're trash right now. We're playing bad basketball, that's for sure.
But I'll dive into why I think that is. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you where the standings are as it sits right now if the playoffs were to happen tomorrow. Number 1 is Golden State. Number 2, Houston. Number 2 is actually Denver. Number 3 is Houston. Number 4 is Portland. All 4 of those franchises have actually already locked up a playoff berth. So regardless of what they do for the next 7 to 8 games, whatever it is they have on their schedule, there's 3 weeks left of ball, they're in no matter what. They can shit the bed for the next 3 weeks and they're fine. But behind them in the 5 spot is Utah. In the 6th spot is the LA Clippers. In 7 is us. And number 8 is San Antonio. We've been going back and forth with San Antonio. We're 7.5 games back in first place. Behind us, San Antonio is 8 games back in first place. So they're a half game behind us. They're on the dude. I mean, we can't up. Number 2, I want to talk about LA Clippers. They're 6.5 games back from first place. So, I mean, we're right there. We could be in 5th or we can be in 8th. I mean, there's a real big swing of events depending on how it goes of where we can be. But if we don't get our right, we might not be in this thing at all. We might not even be dancing, period. So, I think if you look at a lot of the stats, and I was talking with Nolan briefly before we jumped on here, there are a couple things that jump out at you immediately. It's Russell Westbrook's play. A lot of people hate Russell, which I don't get why he gets the public hatred he gets. Probably because he just hates the media. And so if you don't hate the media, it's like not giving your fan a chance for your fans to get to know you. So it's easy for him to get criticism in that moment. And if you really go to look at it even deeper, we're struggling in the post. You said something about Steven Adams to me.
Well, Steven, at the beginning of the season, he was playing phenomenal, and we were winning.
Right.
That's why we're at the top of the standings at the beginning of the season. But since then, Steven's numbers have gone down tremendously. And because of that, you can see it on the field. I mean, on the court. That's for sure.
When we play a good center, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
We get rocked around down low. We get pushed around. And you know Steven struggles because I think the other game he didn't even score more than 5 points. I don't think it was against Memphis, but it was the game before that prior. Maybe it was Toronto. But usually Jeremy Grant and Nerlens Noel tend to get a lot more playing time as of recent since the All-Star break because he hadn't been playing hot. Nobody's been playing good since the All-Star break. Since the All-Star break, I wrote this down. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Since the All-Star break, we're 6-11. We're 6-11. We're just getting our ass kicked. It looks bad. We prior to I told you we're 1-4 in our past 5 games, but our losing streak we had a 5 or 6 game losing streak. Whereas like we didn't know if we could win. And to be honest, if we didn't have Paul George, we wouldn't be in contention for this thing at all. We lost our last game against Memphis on Monday night. We lost. I think it was the final score was like 113-106. If you mind looking that up for me, Nolan. Paul George, to me, is my Thunder player of the game. He had 30 points, 12 rebounds, and we still lost. So we're getting that performance from our best player on the court, and we're still falling up short.
115-103 was the score.
So we lost by 12. How many did Adams have? I don't mean to put my boy on blast, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you the productivity of the down low, where we're at in the post, Corey. It ain't good. I bet Steven didn't have more than
He had 5 points.
5 points. 5 points.
5
Called it.
points, 7 rebounds.
I mean, I appreciate you cleaning up the glass. So you're telling me out of the 7 rebounds he had, I don't know how many were offensive, defensive. You don't even need to dive into that. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't say it.
But let's just say half of them. Let's say he got 4 opportunities. They were all offensive, 4 offensive opportunity rebounds. That should be 8 points right there, right? 4 times 2. That's layups, right? He got 5 points. That ain't. I don't want to dive into that. I really would, because I want to look at the positivity. I'm going to look at the brightness. I'm going to tell you why I think we're going to be in a good position moving forward by the time playoffs comes. Because number one, it's easy to talk about the negativity, which I've addressed all of that right now to you guys. Number 2, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how we've had the hardest schedule since All-Star break and what that's going to be able to do for us. Because everybody knows what we've done since All-Star break. We were 6-11. I'll tell you what we have remaining. We have 8 games remaining. 6 of them are at home. 2 of them are on the road. That's very beneficial to us because we're playing at home in front of an environment that's ready for a playoff berth and is wanting to clinch in a crowd that's excited for that, right? And so your 2 games that are on the road, I will go on to say this. This is the tough part. It's against Minnesota, which you know as we struggle.
We struggle. We've lost them 3 times.
Yes.
3 times.
3 times. We went to the game down in Oklahoma City where Nerlens Noel almost got baptized by Andrew Wiggins and he almost split his skull in 2. Thank goodness he was fine. Seriously. Thank goodness. The second game is our very last game of the season. It's at Milwaukee. I'd venture to say our boy Steven Adams would get his ass kicked against the Greek Freak, who's number 1 right now in the MVP race. That's the best center in the league, the best player in the league. But what I think so the rest of our schedule, I'm going to go down the list. We play Indiana at home, Denver at home, Dallas at home, Los Angeles Lakers at home, Detroit at home, before we ever go on the road to Minnesota. Then we come back and play Houston, then we go to Milwaukee. So we got a handful of good teams left to play. We've got some good ball left to play, and we're going to play a lot of it at home. That's good news. So if we can get our stuff together and start establishing some consistency and rhythm going into it, and just try to play our best ball, because we've got 3 weeks left to do it. Obviously, we're not doing it right now. So we've got 3 weeks left to do it, and we've got a lot of home games to do it in front of guys who are going to be real supportive. I think we're looking to go to the Dallas game on March 31st, because it's Dirk's final hoorah, and it's his last time he'll be here in OKC. So I think we'll probably go to the game. We'll get some footage. We're going to take some pictures, and we'll send you guys some of the fun we have. We'll try and provide some insight.
Yeah, see if we can do a couple of interviews with some people while we're there.
Probably put a couple of beers in Nolan and see if he can do anything stupid. Really, that's my main goal. We're going to drink some tequila before the game and have some fun.
Yeah.
That's my thunder up part of this podcast. Let me know if you want anything else to be talked about in the segment. Let me know what you think about the Thunder. If y'all think if we could maybe add a better piece, I mean, give me your thoughts on the Thunder. Comment below. Let me know what you think. I want to dive into some other NBA news. I know everybody last night saw Nurkic's leg injury. It was nasty. It was disgusting. They were playing against Brooklyn. He come up for a rebound, or was going up or coming down. I can't remember. And his leg just split in 2. Very Gordon Hayward-ish like, very Paul George-ish like. You don't ever want to see that for a guy. You don't ever want to see that. You just pray he's all right. And honestly, I think he's going to recover. I don't know what how significant the injury is, because Hayward's was just a dislocation or a high sprain. Excuse me. I don't know if this is broke. I don't know the details. I don't know if they've MRI'd it yet. I don't know how quick his recovery time will be, but my guess is he's a pro athlete. He's going to get the best treatment with the technology being the way it is today. He's going to work his off at it. Like I said, he's a paid athlete. He's a professional. He'll be back. He'll at least have some sort of a return to the game of basketball. I hope he's the same person. I've been blessed enough to see Paul George come back a better guy. I remember when he went through what he went through going to pursue a gold medal. I think it was back in 2014 when he split his leg in the international game. Luckily, everybody knows his story. I don't need to dive into that, but he came back, changed his number from 24 to 13, ended up playing 1 or 2 more years with Indy, and came back to us here in Oklahoma City. And he's only progressed and is playing in his prime, and maybe he still has better yet to play. And he's gone through what Nurkic just went through, and you only hope things get better. I mean, you only hope that.
Yeah,
Really.
Pray for the best, prepare for the worst, right?
Who else got injured
Drew Holiday.
last night? Drew Holiday?
Yeah.
Drew Holiday. What did you hear?
His abs, he's suffered a rupture in his abs, is out for the season.
Well, I mean, I know he's out for the season, and he plays for the Pelicans, but that ain't gonna affect nothing. They're done ever since that Anthony Davis deal.
Oh, yeah.
But,
They've been done for a while.
Yeah, I just knew there's another injury, and I couldn't remember who it was. I knew it was Drew Holiday. That's right. His abs. But you never want to see another guy like he's a baller. I know I think he's their best defensive player on the team. Mm-hmm. So obviously that they're going to have a void to fill there. And I'm not trying to trash the Pelicans, but they've obviously got some issues for themselves to fill. There's obviously already a situation with Anthony Davis that they've got going on. I mean, this Drew Holiday didn't make anything better when your best defender goes down the court. And I imagine he had some sort of productivity on the offensive end. I don't know his numbers. I do know he's the best defensive player for them on the court, as a guard at least. I do know that. What else was I going to? Oh, Kyrie. I wanted to talk about Kyrie. Kyrie's actually resting against his next game. It's against his ex-team, Cleveland. And I kind of want to just talk about this because they've obviously clinched. And resting players towards this right here, a lot of people feel different about it. And actually, the NBA's placed a policy in benching players for specifically rest when fans purchase tickets to go and watch them. So that happened 3 or 4 years ago, and specifically because of the San Antonio Spurs, because of what Greg Popovich did. He'd rest Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. He'd rest them all, and he'd play his second and third string the whole game. And people would have a lot of blowback on the deal and complaints that they weren't seeing the players that they wanted to see because they're just intentionally resting them for future games because they've already clinched, which I get the franchises, but I get their thought process behind it. You want your best players playing their best ball at this best time, which is most significant in the playoffs. I completely understand that. But if we're having to talk about rest players in the middle of a season, then I think the season's too long. I think the season's probably 12 games too long. I think, and I don't mean to dive into baseball, but you don't need 162 regular season games to know who the best team is in baseball. You don't need 82 games in the regular season in the NBA to know who the best team is in basketball. Like, you could probably trim it by a dozen games and dive into the playoffs earlier than what you do, which is what they did back in the early 90s. It was still 82 games, but they dove in the playoffs earlier. They did. The playoffs were also shorter with 6-game series until the Western and Eastern Conference Finals, which is not how they do it now. But I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, something that's really cool that I was reading about was Rudy Gobert broke the regular season, single season dunks record with his 270th dunk. Obviously, there's 3 weeks to go, so he's only going to set that bar even higher and higher.
Yeah, that's a lot of dunks.
Yeah,
that's a lot of dunks.
Yeah, but that's pretty impressive when you start to think about his ability to score and how he throws it through the cylinder. So obviously, they just feed the beast, and that's the concept on them is to feed the beast, and they're pretty dirty at it. They also got, I think Favors is on that team. They also got a couple other cats, Ricky Rubio. He's pretty good, and you got Devin Mitchell. So I mean, they're pretty damn good. I mean, I don't want to see them in the playoffs again because we played them in the first round last year, and I will kick their. Excuse me, Chad. You're gonna have to do some editing, but I'm tired of Devin Mitchell. I'm tired of the way he's cocky. I'm tired of it.
I mean, what can you say? He's a baller. I mean, he's a baller. And then how about Jason Kidd coming back into the league also?
Jason Kidd didn't come back into the league. Jason Kidd,
he's getting back involved.
Yeah, well, he's trying to.
Yeah.
And I told everybody this on the last podcast. Luke Walton's going to get fired. I mean, you know who's coming back, or he's trying to, is Jason Kidd. He's trying to make his way back in the league right now. What he did with Milwaukee, I don't know. I mean, he got fired from his last coaching job, was Milwaukee the Bucks, but he's obviously their number one candidate. They're shoving it down our throats in ESPN is they want Jason Kidd to be coach of the Lakers. That's who they want. And you know Luke Walton's out the fucking door. He's done. LeBron wants him gone. So whether it be Jason Kidd or somebody, he's obviously the front runner for it. The next thing I want to talk about is the NCAA tournament. Tar Heels, baby, you're still in it. That's who I got winning it all. I know Zion Williams looks good, but we're done with all that, dude. North Carolina's here to take the championship. They are. I hated to see Murray State go out because I like Ja Morant. I do. I hated to see him go out. In other news, my alumni fired their head basketball coach, Avery Johnson. But it's to be expected. With everything that happened last year with Colin Sexton and them being indicted by the FBI with their paying scandal, it was supposed to happen. Not only that, he went 18-16 the year after he got done paying the player over $100,000. So, I mean, we all knew it was coming. He was in his fourth season. They didn't make the NCAA tournament. They made it one time, and the only time they did make it was the year he got indicted by the FBI. So everybody there was scratching over their heads. Everybody was calling for him on Twitter. He was done. He was getting eaten alive. He was done. So, and also too to boot, we also had our best player, Kyra Lewis Jr., which is who I also mentioned in my last video, who was our best player, point guard. He just entered the NCAA transfer portal. So our best player is also gone, as well with our head coach. So there's no telling where Alabama basketball is going. No telling. Hopefully we can go up. Hopefully we'll go get a good coach. Last time we were talking about getting the Wichita State coach. Joke's on us because he's still doing damn good. And he still is the head coach of Wichita. And they're still in NIT. I think they just beat Indiana tonight. So, yeah, they're doing good. Last thing I want to talk about is Rob Gronkowski retiring. I think we'll see that son of a bitch in the WWE or partying somewhere. Bud Light will probably sponsor his. He's a 5-star partier. I've never seen anybody partier like that, man. He's a stud.
Blue chip.
And he's got 2 blondes with him, at least, bare minimum. I mean, if you guys ever watch a Super Bowl parade, he shotguns more beers with Patriots fans. It's unreal. I'm trying to drink a beer with Rob Gronkowski. Maybe more. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to party with him.
You drink one, you're gonna be drinking more.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
I know he's crazy. That's it, guys. That's episode 3 of A&W Athletics. Say goodbye, Nolan. Tell them all goodbye.
Peace.
Corey, Chad, appreciate it. See you guys. We'll post another video probably on Thursday after we play the Pacers. We got business to handle. We got 4 or 5 straight home games. So, Thunder up! Woo!